Hello, this is Mr. Wood again, and here's part 2 of the Algebra 2 Semester 1 final exam review. Alright, so we're on find the exact solutions of the quadratic equation. Remember, to find the exact solutions, that just means solve it, we must use quadratic formula, or highly recommend quadratic formula. For quadratic formula, you need standard form, meaning you need ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We need 0 on one side, so I got to move this 10x, or negative 10x to the other side, adding 10x to both sides. So our real equation is 3x squared plus 10x plus 4 equals 0. So quadratic formula, make sure you label a, b, and c. A is 3, b is 10, c is 4, and just plug into the formula. So negative b, meaning negative 10, plus or minus square root of b squared. Make sure you put in parentheses, so be careful. Minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. Make sure you do the inside of the square root first, the discriminant. So negative 10. So just do 10 squared minus 4 times 3 times 4. 148 is 52 over 6. Since that number is positive, there's two real answers. It is not a nice number, it's a decimal, so you have to break it down. Doing that tree branch method is irrational. So remember, 52 is 2 times 26. 26 is 2 times 13. We're doing square root. We're trying to find pairs, groups of 2. For every group, one makes it out, the rest disappear. That 13 stays inside. So now we're going to replace the square root of 52 with 2 square root 13. Negative 10 plus or minus 2 square root 13 over 6. Now you do not do the two cases, so we have an irrational answer with the root sign, but you must reduce the whole numbers outside. So negative 10, 2, and 6, they're all divisible by the GCF of 2. So negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. 2 divided by 2 is 1, which you do not have to write. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that is our final answer. Here's another one, same idea. Solve the quadratic equation. Use quadratic formula, but make sure it's in standard form. So add 8 to both sides. Label A, B, C. A is 2, B is negative 12, C is 8. And plug into the formula. So negative B, so change the sign to positive 12 plus or minus square root B squared. Now if you forget the parentheses here, you'll get the answer wrong. Make sure you put parentheses. Minus 4 times A times C, all over 2 times A. Do the inside the square root first, the discriminant. So 144 minus 64 is square root of 80 over 4. That is not a nice number. It's a decimal. It goes on forever. Irrational, meaning break it down, tree branch method. So that is 2 times 40, 2 times 20, 2 times 10, 2 times 5. So you should have 4 2s and a 5. We're finding pairs because the index is 2, square root. 2 pairs. For each pair, only one makes it out, other disappears. One makes it out, other disappears. That 5 stays inside the square root. The outside numbers multiply, so 2 times 2 is 4. 4 root 5. We are going to replace square root of 80 with 4 square root 5. 12 plus or minus square root 5 over 4. Remember, no two cases since it's not a nice number, but you must reduce the fraction. 12, 4, and 4 are all divisible by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 4 by 4 is 1. Square root 5. 4 by 4 is 1, which is not. So here's my answer. Alright, simplify the following. Is this foiling? Distribute. Make sure you don't do that. So first, outside, inside, last. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times negative 7i is negative 14i. 3i times 4 is positive 12i. 3i times negative 7i is negative 21i squared. Combine like terms if you can, meaning the i's combine. So that's 8 minus 2i minus 21. I squared is negative 1. Fix that. That last number is really negative 1. 21 times negative 1 is positive 21. So combine the 8 and the 21 for our final answer of 29 minus 2i. Real part first, imaginary part second. Now, on the test, you can use a calculator. Remember, I is on the calculator. You just press second decimal. So 2 plus 3, I is second, period. 4 minus 7i. Oops. Second period. Enter. It says 29 minus 2i. So the calculator knows to fix I squared. It'll do everything right for you. You can only use calculator if there's I. If there's x, you cannot do that. Other one, same thing. Negative 2 minus 6i times 3 plus 4i. It says the answer is 18 minus 26i. So you should not get that wrong on the test. Just use a calculator. You get full credit. This one, same idea, but it's a little harder. You have to know how to combine like terms, but also how to distribute. So this, I always say, is it a multiplication problem or adding problem? It's both. It's the first thing plus the second thing. The second thing has foiling. So ignore the first part, just FOIL this part. So 4x times 3x is 12x squared. 4x times negative 8 is negative 32x. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3x. And negative 1 times negative 8 is positive 8. Combine like terms if you can. The x's combine. So 12x squared minus 35x plus 8. And then I bring down the first part. Still there, 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. Now I don't need the parentheses anymore because it's adding. If it was a minus sign, I have to distribute negative 1. Combine terms one last time. The x squareds combine for 14x squared. Negative 5x minus 35x makes negative 40x. Negative 3 plus 8 is plus 5. So that is your answer. All right, this is the same problem. It's adding, but for the second part, you have to distribute again. So I'm going to distribute this first thing to both of these. Then this next thing to both of these. And that last thing to both of these. So in order, 2x squared times negative 5x squared is negative 10x to the fourth, because x2 times x2 is x4. 2x squared times 2x is 4x3. All right, negative 3x times negative 5x squared is positive 15x cubed. Negative 3x times 2x is negative 6x squared. And okay, that's red. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20x squared. 4 times 2x is positive 8x. Combine like terms if you can, which the x cubes combine, the x squareds combine, so that is really negative 10 x4 plus 19x3 minus 26x squared plus 8x. And then finally bring on this first person and combine one last time. So only one thing with x4, so negative 10 x4. x3s have 3x3, 19x3, that's 22. X cubed, x squared is only this guy, so minus 26 x squared. X's have this and this. Negative 4 plus 8 is positive 4. And don't forget that, 7. And that's it. So again, just make sure you know how to distribute, then combine like terms. All right, now we gotta talk about a quadratic equation, find the y-intercept, vertex, axis of symmetry, say whether there's a maximum or minimum, and the value. So remember, standard form, which it is, the y-intercept requires 0 work. It's always a c. So it's 0, 12. The vertex and axis of symmetry are related. The axis of symmetry formula is on the formula chart. It says negative b over 2a. So negative b is negative 6 over 2 times a. A is negative 3. Negative 6 over negative 6 gives me positive 1. The axis of symmetry is the x part of the vertex. To find the y part, you just have to plug it in. So I plug in 1 for x to the original problem. So negative 3 times 1 squared plus 6 times 1 plus 12. Put in the calculator or just calculate by hand. So 18 minus 3 is 15. So there's my vertex. If you can get those 3 things, or really 2 things, if you get the y-intercept and vertex, you basically have all the information you need. It asks for minimum or maximum. Well, it is flipped because at negative 3. So we have upside down u. Well, this point is the maximum, it's the top. So it's a maximum, and the value is the y part of the vertex. It's 15. All right, so remember the vertex, the x part is the axis of symmetry, the y part is the value of the maximum or minimum. Same thing here. Y-intercept is just c, 0, -6. Axis of symmetry, you do negative b over 2a. So -10 over 2 times 5, -10 over 10, which is -1. So x equals -1. The vertex, we know x is -1. Y, we got to plug it in. So 5 times -1 squared plus 10 times -1 minus 6. You could put that in the calculator, but that is 5 minus 10 minus 6, -16 plus 5 is -11. All right, with that information, you can tell me minimum, maximum. It's a regular u, so it looks like this. That has a minimum, a bottom point. Minimum value of -11. All right, some more of this. Describe the transformation done. It doesn't matter what type of the function is. It doesn't matter if it's linear, quadratic, cubic, logarithmic, square root. Just talk about all the numbers and signs. So that +4 means it is shifted up 4 units. I'll just say up 4. But make sure you use the correct vocabulary. Make sure you use this. That -3, that's inside with x, that's opposite. That means right 3, or correctly would be shifted 3 units to the right. That 2 makes it taller, or would be vertically stretched. Stretched by a factor of 2. All right. Same thing here. Talk about this. That -1 by itself, that is down 1. That +6 means it is left 6. And that negative means it is flipped upside down. But you should use this word reflected across the y-axis. All right, write the equation, quadratic, in standard form if they have the roots. Remember, you have to change the sign of the root. So although the root is +2, you have to write x minus 2. And although it's -1/3, it's +1/3. Fix any fractions by moving the denominator to the front. So this is the same thing, x minus 2, 3x plus 1, and just distribute or FOIL. So x times those two times those two. So x times 3x is 3x squared. X times 1 is 1x. -2 times 3x is -6x. -2 times 1 is -2. Combine like terms, so these x's combine. Our final answer is 3x squared minus 5x minus 2. Same thing here. So change the sign, -3/4. Change the sign, +2/7. Move the denominators. Move this to the front. Move this to the front. So 4x minus 3. 7x plus 2. Then FOIL or distribute. So what is that? 28x squared plus 8x minus 21x minus 6. Combine like terms. The x's in the middle combined. So you have 28x squared minus 13x minus 6. All right, and I'll stop there for the second video. I'll continue on in the third part.